Recently we've made some remarkable achievements in combating of piracy on our waters, and of course we've been able to actually, it's been in the news actually, how the Nigerian Navy was able to intercept some of these pirates and others. I mean, has this boosted the morale of the naval force? And is there any way we want to really go further? I mean, do you have things on ground to push further the fight against piracy?
Sometime in February, you all were witnesses to the debrief on the execution of that aspect of the rescue operation, which was carried out by this particular ship we were on board. That arrest was made possible due to the collective effort of sister navies. You recall that the incident took place off the coast of Cote d'Ivoire, and we had the various maritime operating centers relaying the movement of the ship across to Nigeria, to the Nigerian Navy. We took up the matter, dispatched the ship. Even at the point of effecting the arrest, the Sao Tome and Principe authorities were also informed, and of course what turned out was a successful execution of the arrest. To that effect, I guess the best thing that can happen to a sailor is to be able to execute such an action successfully with minimal casualty. That was a reinforcement of the need and desire to continue to train. What we're doing now is also part of the training, and I'm sure the more you train, the better you get at it. You recall too that we have to give kudos to the sister navies that facilitated that arrest, and we have to also give acknowledge the contribution of the AFRICOM and other partners who have been training our men and building capacity for our navies. But for how long can we allow outsiders to take care of our destiny? It's been declared that we have to take responsibility and take ownership of what happens in our region. Now, for the first time, we are able to assemble navies of the region. We will build on this by ensuring that we have such regular exercises, and I think the more we have it, the better our men will be. And of course, the issue of morale goes with self-esteem and satisfaction in the job you're doing. So the morale of the officers and men is high. Our presence at sea has further been able to reduce greatly the menace of these sea robbers and pirates. I'm aware too that sometime in the first quarter of the year, we had this upsurge of incidences around the Niger Delta, but we've been able to counter that. And as I speak, I think I can proudly say that the presence of naval ships out there, coupled with the measures we've put in place, we have ships patrolling our oil and gas installations, as well as the various creeks we have, thousands of them, of course, and the surveillance systems that have been deployed. These are all the measures that have assisted the Navy in being able to contain the menace. We are also in touch with the various state governors, state governments, to employ some other measures that limits the use of certain craft out of the various creeks. From our studies, it does appear some of these vessels or some of these boats that have high capacity engines are able to venture out into the high seas, and limiting their movement is beginning to yield the desired dividends.
I think just of recent, the Niger Delta Avengers, they are like a threat right now. Or they are a threat to our assets. You think the Navy is up to, you have the capacity to really curtail them and bring them to size, because they're actually destroying a lot of things in the Niger Delta area right now.
If any group of individuals or persons arrogate to themselves the right to use force, I think the best way you can describe this group might just be to classify them as terrorists. They have no right whatsoever to go destroying what belongs to everyone. And it is the duty of any law-abiding Nigerian to be able to rise up against such individuals. And the Nigerian Navy, of course, is actually mandated to take on such individuals or group of persons if they venture out to where we are meant to protect. It doesn't serve them any good, destroying what ought to bring prosperity to them. And so, for me, I've always said that anybody that takes up such posture against the state might just best be described as a terrorist and dealt with accordingly. So for now, the Navy will continue to ensure that we get such guys out of our way and out of the way of progress of the nation. That is what we are paid to do.
Thank you so very much.
That's it.